what made you decide to get into wrestling? How did it all start it off for you?
Well, I was a really big fan of wrestling, and I'm from small town Missouri. We really don't have much indie shows around here. So I wasn't really into it like that, but I was into the WWE and TNA and Ring of Honor and stuff. And WWE was coming to a town close to me, and a cousin of mine and myself were really big fans, and we bought tickets. And I was expressing the joy of being able to go with a friend of mine when his friend overheard the conversation and chimed in and said, I do that. And I really didn't believe him, no way. And he's like, yeah, I'm actually going to train today. You can come with me. And so me and him and our other friend, of course, we all drove down to the building and we started to train. And he never expected me to call, but I called him the next day, sure as could be, and asked him when he was going again because I was ready. And it's just been going ever since.
So, how long have you been wrestling up to this
It'll
point?
be in April.
Okay. Well, I will say this: I've been following your career for about a couple of years. You definitely have made a name for yourself, not only in the indies, but in the custom wrestling world as well. You
Well, thanks.
were in a once upon a time, you was quite a big name out of Magnificent Ladies Wrestling, and now
Yes.
you are in charge of your very own custom company entitled Ultimate Women's Wrestling. So
Yep.
exactly, uh, how did that came about?
Well, like you said, I was with Magnificent Ladies of Wrestling for a few years, and the original owner, Daryl, was in talks of selling the company because he was moving and wasn't able to keep up with it anymore. So whenever he was talking about selling, me and my husband, talked about how cool it would be to own our own customs and how we would love to take it over. Unfortunately, at that time, we didn't have the funds to do so, and I still continue to wrestle for the new owner, Destiny, for quite some time afterwards. But, me and my husband were sitting at home one day, and I was like, you know what, why don't we do it? What's stopping us now? And so at first, it was just in talks with one of another female wrestler who I'm very close with. We were discussing us opening up into our own business and seeing if she would be on board. And originally it was supposed to be just me and her. But after we got it kick-started, there was a few other girls I had asked, but the rest, they just they were coming out of nowhere and asking us to be a part of the tapings. And I didn't expect it to take off as fast as it did. We don't even have a website up yet. Whenever we announced it, it was like we were getting script after script after script. And for our first taping, we had a total of 26 matches, and that is pretty dang good for your very first taping, especially with having no website or anything, because I understand I wouldn't want to trust anybody either without some proof. But fortunately, we have some really good customers that are very loyal and great friends, and they really backed us up and pushed us, and it's just we hit the ground running with it. It was very surprising to both of us how fast it was off, but we are just very excited that it did, and we're working on our second taping coming up November 8th. So if anyone's interested in a Ultimate Women's Wrestling custom where you get to be the booker, go ahead and put your match together and send your script into ultimatewomenswrestling@yahoo.com. And usually I or my partner, Austin Lane, who will be on there answering emails, as well as myself and my husband, Jason the Brain. So just thought I'd put that out there.
Well, I will say congratulations on getting the first taping, considering how much work it took to get there, and the fact that you have quite the fan base. 26 matches for your first customs, pretty darn good. Considering
Oh,
y'all
yes.
considering this company is new and it doesn't even have a website launched yet. I seen the
I know.
pictures, and they look very good. And I'm already looking forward to them when they will be available for to be purchased. And I've always wanted to book a match myself, but I guess for some it could come across as somewhat expensive or whatever as far as booking the people that you want and how you want the match to go. Um, so as far as the scripts is concerned, like for people that want to consider what type of matches do you think is best for someone like me that wants to consider booking a match or whatever? Is it like female? Is it competitive, one sided? Like what type of matches do you uh, do you do y'all actually do?
We do any type of professional wrestling match. We do the hardcore, we do Ironman matches, we've done pile driver matches. We do whatever the customer wants as long as there's nothing sexual about it. We don't tolerate that at all. We are 100% professional, and that's what we do. We do professional wrestling. So say you were to watch, and whether you were to go to a show yourself, like an indie show or a WWE show, if you've seen a match or you've seen a really cool move, you can be like, you know what, when I order my next custom, I want that to be in there. And you call the entire match from beginning to finish. You determine who goes over or who wins the match. You determine what finisher you want them to use. If there's any type of particular moves that you want, so you're a big fan of the Deja Vu, which is one of my favorite moves to do, which is a tilt-a-whirl DDT. You can throw that in there, for a false comeback or just any type of match that you would want to see. That's what we do. Like I said, as long as it is 100% professional wrestling, we're on board.
And I'm going to name some of the participants for November the 8th, which includes yourself, Jessica Andrews, I believe, Paris Kelly, Arkansas Terror, who's definitely made a name for himself.
Oh, yes.
And I'm sure you ladies will like nothing more than to put him in his place. I do read the Facebook post, by the way, and some fighting words between the ladies in Arkansas. So you can go to Ultimate Women's Wrestling on Facebook. You can message a little bit or Austin or Justin for any questions that you may have. And I noticed that Kissy from Texas is going to be available on the 8th. And y'all got just have a big name coming up on November the 8th. Legendary Leilani Kai will be available as well.
So excited to have her.
So how does that make you feel, considering this is the second taping coming up and you have a living legend like Leilani Kai and says, I want to be a part of this?
Oh my gosh, I'm over the moon about it. Even when I made the announcement on Facebook, I had people messaging me left and right, so excited to have her a part of your taping. Congratulations on that. And, Jason, my husband, he's the one that got her booked, and which was awesome. Whenever he told me, my jaw hit the floor. I almost thought, you're kidding, right? And he's like, no, I'm serious. And I was like, well, just pinch me. That's amazing. Our second taping, and we have Leilani Kai. I mean, she's, like she said, legendary, and it's so exciting, and I would love nothing more to be a part of a match with her in any way, shape, or form, because that would be just the most awesome experience ever. I've got to meet Joyce Grable, and, that was awesome. Just to meet these legends that paved the way for women's wrestling is just the most awesome experience that I could ever have in this business, to be completely honest. to just be able to listen to them and hear their stories of how they paved the way. It's just so amazing, and I just feel truly blessed to have her a part of our taping.
That's definitely great to hear, and it just shows that someone like yourself appreciate the trailblazers, those who paved the way, and I think that's what's missing in wrestling these days is that, yeah, you out there wrestling, making a name for yourself, but don't forget about those who came before you, those who didn't have much pay at the time, who had to travel either farther than usual than some of wrestlers of today. And it's good to know that people like you fully understand people like Leilani Kai and Joyce Grable and many others who came and did what they did for a living, and people like yourself and Paris and Nikki and C.J. Lane and Jessica, and the list goes on and on. You ladies are pretty much the new generation of women's wrestling, as far as I'm concerned.
Exactly. And that's why it's so important, especially with customs, because I know they have a bad rep. It doesn't matter where the custom is. Whenever people see women's wrestling, they automatically think of, sexuality, and we're not just eye candy. We are just as good as the boys. That's why we're in this business. I know that if I wasn't just as good as the boys, I wouldn't be here. One of my trainers, Anton LeVay, who is also on our lineup for November, he pretty well beat it into me. He gives no slack to anybody, no matter age or gender. If you're going to get in there and train and you're going to be a worker, you're going to be a professional wrestler, you're going to do it right. And there's not going to be any, well, I'm a girl attitude and I can't stand that personally. We work our tails off and we bust ourselves to the bone and train hard. And every time we step into that ring, it's just like, we may be women, but when we step in that ring, we're nothing but another worker. You don't look at us like females. You look at us like another worker. And that's what we pride ourselves on. We want to be known as professional women's wrestling who provides customs. So that way, that's why I push it, nothing sexual at all, because it won't be tolerated. Your scripts will be deleted pretty well. But we want to be known as that customs that isn't just eye candy. Those girls can really kick some butt. So
that is completely understandable. I feel like women wrestling has come a long way as far as talent. It seems like those on the indies is getting more respect than the ones that's in the pros. There's just a lot more talent that's out there more than ever, and
absolutely.
And it's just a matter of those ladies on the indies getting the opportunities that the ones in the pros have, and it's just a matter of waiting to see. And before I let you go, I got two quick questions I want to ask you. What some of the upcoming wrestling appearances you have coming up a little bit?
Well, actually, this Saturday night, I will be in Tuckerman, Arkansas, known as the Mosquito State. I will be wrestling Nikki Lane for the Misfit Wrestling Alliance Divas Championship. I don't know if you've seen that from our recent show that we just had this past weekend. It was a St. Jude's benefit show for the Ashland McClure Memorial. I was given the opportunity to take on Paris Kelly and $1 Million Baby for the NWA Divas Championship, and I prevailed the winner. So this weekend I take on Nikki Lane for that championship, and also I will be in Humboldt, Tennessee, October 11th, taking on a girl named Lollipop for that title. And then again, November 1st, I will be in Independence, Mississippi, taking on Paris Kelly again for that title, and I will prevail, be Divas champion every single time because I do not like to let my fans down. Most importantly, I do not like to let myself down. So I will walk out again with that belt over my shoulder and just go on my merry little way.
And
And if, sorry.
oh, and if you can, go ahead and promote your social media links and let people know how they can learn more, get in touch with you, not just yourself, but UWW as well.
Okay, if you would like to inquire about custom, you can email ultimatewomenswrestling@yahoo.com. You can find me on Facebook. All you got to do is punch in a little bit, and there I'll be. You can find Ultimate Women's Wrestling on Facebook as well, and we also have a Twitter account, so you can find us on Twitter, follow us, and see what we got going on day to day. There's always something coming up. We recently started the Woman of the Week. This week it was Jessica Andrews, and you never know who it'll be next week. So if anybody has any ideas of who our next Woman of the Week should be, just shoot me a message and tell me who and why, and we'll tally up some votes and get the new woman up there.
Well, a little bit, it was very awesome to chat with you, and thank you for your time, and congrats again on the success of the first custom shoot, and hopefully y'all can duplicate that and many more on November the 8th. When is the cutoff date for those that want to put the custom scripts in?
The cutoff date will be November 1st, so a week before, and we cannot go a day later. So get your scripts in by November 1st.
So November 1st, the cutoff date. November 8th is when y'all actually will get the matches underway, especially with Leilani Kai for that's extraordinary. So and you
get those scripts in. We've got to get her some matches. That's bottom line. And I know every single girl on our lineup would be ecstatic to step in the ring with her. So let's get them in.
That's awesome. Again, thank you for your time a little bit. Best of success, not only to your wrestling career, but to UWW moving forward. And you have a good night.
You too. Thank you so much. You have a good night, too.
All right, bye-bye.